What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Crunch Time. You see me again if you're already playing basketball today, and guess what? You've already lost, and you're back here. Good for you. You weren't paying attention to my advice because I'm probably great. I don't know. It doesn't matter. This is football now, and we got Sunday Night Football with some trashy weather. Indy versus San Francisco. Don't know how I feel about this game overall to watch, so guess what? We're playing Showdown because that's going to make it more fun. I am joined here by one of the best in the business, Keith Eister.
Yep.
Eister.
Got it.
I should know. It says Eyes 819. Screen name. You may see him at the top of the leaderboard. How you doing over there, buddy?
Doing well. Pretty good day overall. On the main slate for me, cash was great, despite Darrell Henderson not doing very much. But Cooper Kupp went nuclear again. Had quite a bit of him in tournaments as well. Had a ton of Mike Evans, but the running back injuries were brutal on this slate. So a lot of landmines. So didn't quite put anything up at the top, but a very good day overall for me.
I was like slightly over the field on Miles Sanders and Jacobs, and they just happened to be in every single great lineup I had. Like I don't even know. Like I'll check here. Just over on Super Jeff. Yahoo, I know I had a few that were in contention for 100K, and they all had Jacobs in it.
I had a bunch of Stafford Kupp with Swift running it back, and it seems like every one of those had Jacobs or Sanders in it also, which was just brutal.
Yeah, I mean the chalk. Well, depending on which side you're on. Like Williams was horrible. Hubbard absolutely terrible.
Yep.
Like this was a week where you probably, depending on the site, and then Foster Moreau, if you were a smart guy and pivoted onto him like I did, in every lineup I had both Sanders and Jacobs in it because I'm a big dum for playing them. Yeah, you probably did pretty decent here. But yeah, we got a fun little showdown slate. For some reason we're on here 50 minutes before everything starts, but yeah, no, I don't know. Like I'm gonna go over to YouTube chat, see what's going on. I've been up for 15, 16, 17 hours. I don't know. It's been a long time. It's been a long day. Sundays are long. What time do you normally get up on Sundays?
About 8 a.m. Central usually.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Like I do all my research Monday through Friday, completely disregard Saturday and don't do a thing. And then Sunday wake up at 2, 3 a.m. and just work an 8-9 hour day, just setting everything. Cause I want all that news. I don't want the worthless part of the day or like have Saturday take half of my research out of it. Like I have most of what I need to know Friday. Only thing left is injuries. So Saturday, I get drunk on Friday night. I sleep in a little bit. I still work on Saturday doing basketball or whatever. And then, you know what? I go to bed as early as I can, which now with basketball season is close to midnight because I have to watch basketball games because I'm betting a whole lot on basketball. Guys, you haven't signed up for Scores and Odds, go sign up for it. Eyes is killing it over there. I'm killing it, maybe not in football because no one wants to score touchdowns for me, but basketball, I think I'm doing pretty well so far. I've got like the ones I've written up have done pretty well. But I think I'm like before today, which I guess basketball is just starting. I was like 23-7 on props.
Nice.
I wasn't sure how basketball was going to go, and I've just gone completely scorched earth. It's nice. Life is good. You know, life is good.
I
Good
debated
to see money in your bank account.
Yeah, definitely. I debated several minutes before I put my pick in. I was either taking the Patriots Jets under, or I was just taking the Patriots spread. And the Patriots like just destroyed the total in that game. I ended up going with the total, of course. I went under, and the Patriots absolutely just trucked the Jets. So should have went with the Patriots side of that one, I guess. But
or just the Jets under. No, I guess they probably hit the over on their points. That was just a whole mess of a game.
They had 3 running backs score
crunch
touchdown.
time on here, Devin. Why am I not seeing it, Devin? There is not. So we're going over to YouTube chat, because guess what? YouTube, you ask your questions throughout the show. We're going to be giving you our full breakdown of the showdown slate. And then we're just going to answer every single question you have. It can be relevant to the slate, or it can be relevant to my fast food choices. Anything you want, go ahead and ask it, because we got far too much time. But somehow this conversation only lasted like 6 minutes, and we got to get started with the game. You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready. We got an exciting one tonight. A little bit of weather, like you mentioned. So
yeah, which is going to hurt the what's it called? The passing game a wee bit on both sides. But I mean, I don't care. I'm still gonna probably hammer a decent amount of it. I want to say, is that stadium built a little bit better to handle wind? I mean, obviously rain. It's an open air spot. It's not going to. But I feel like San Francisco, because of the wind always being there, granted, they went up a little bit further north and wherever it is.
yeah, I know in baseball, the Giants specifically built theirs to kind of counteract that a little bit. I imagine the 49ers stadium is very new as well. So I imagine that it's pretty safeguarded. I was looking at the total. It opened at 42. And I mean, I'm guessing they knew about that there was a chance for bad weather even a week ago, but opened to 42 and still sits at 41.5. So it's not like the total plummeted or anything in this game. That's always one of the first things I look at when we're looking at weather.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, something to always think about when you're thinking about stadiums. I mean, baseball, you look at, nothing gets affected more by wind than Wrigley. Wrigley was built, 100 years ago?
Right.
In football, I think that Soldier Field is the one that's affected most by wind. Like, this is not even from knowledge of looking at DFS research, just every single person I know who's gone there and it's been cold, it's like, yeah, no, the wind absolutely gets you. So newer stadiums, generally architects make it so that wind won't affect it as much. It's not just for the players, it's because fans don't want to be in freezing cold temperatures. So any place that isn't like, I don't know, someplace warm like LA, where wind can really damper the fan experience, they generally change things around a little bit and build stadiums that won't be fully affected by it. But I mean, honestly, everything should just be in a dome. Let's be honest. Outside of baseball, which should at least have a retractable dome, like baseball is meant to be enjoyed in the hot air. Football, have a dome. Like, it's cold, it's winter. What are you doing? Oh gosh, that's my little rant there. Yeah, let's get started here. Should we just start off with DraftKings and do FanDuel?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. So who's your favorite captain tonight over on DraftKings? Are you going with a quarterback? You going with the running game because of the weather? Are you planning on using Debo or Pittman because of the huge amount of volume they have? Where are you going with?
Yeah, so this is a tough game to kind of, I don't know, take a stand on. I would favor the running backs normally, but the Colts have a great run defense. The 49ers have a pretty good run defense. The 49ers backfield situation is a mess. We did just see Jonathan Taylor blow up, but they're the underdog. So there isn't like a perfect captain that I'm seeing. I think Debo Samuel is probably my preferred option, just because the 49ers at home and favored a slight lean to them to win the game. But Debo looks like he's going to be the most popular captain too. So I haven't really nailed it down yet. I am open to kind of pivoting around here as I finalize lineups. But Deebo Samuel's who I'm looking at. I do like Jonathan Taylor. I suppose I'm probably going to take some shots on Elijah Mitchell too, despite the tough matchup for him.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna. I'm a lot of mine's game script dependent. I think overall Debo's like my favorite raw points play. I think he has the most upside. Like the guy is just getting absolutely hammered with targets. I know a lot of that was with what's his name under center, Trey Lance. But
yeah.
Garoppolo was still hitting him pretty hard with targets too. I mean, pretty evident that he's going to get the baseline reception thing over on FanDuel or over on DraftKings with full point PPR. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be very heavily owned, I'm guessing. He's, I think, actually projected for the top captain spot. I mean, it's not surprising. The guy's really good. Indy likes to run the weather, but I think an interesting one outside of those guys is going to be Pittman. I mean, this guy is getting more and more heavily involved in the offense. Yes, versus Houston, he didn't get a ton of targets, but that was a game against Houston. They're not good. But like prior to that, Baltimore 7 targets, Miami 8 targets, Tennessee 12, LA 12. Like he's getting sprinkled with them all over the place. And the wind, the weather, like that actually plays more into Pittman's game. He's not generally a deep downfield guy. He'll have a lot of like designed plays to go to him because he's pretty good in open space. So what are your thoughts on Pittman?
Yeah, I do like Pittman a good amount too. Both of these teams utilize the short passing game quite a bit, which I think that's one of the reasons that I'm not just completely sold on the running backs. Is I think they could still utilize the short passing game and not be worried about the weather. Pittman's target share looks outstanding. T.Y. Hilton back on missing the game again. He's inactive tonight, so don't have to worry about him cutting into the role. There really isn't any other talent in this receiving core. I mean, Zach Pascal's there. He's fine, but I wouldn't say he's on the same level of talent as somebody like Pittman. And then you're talking about guys like Ashton Doolin and Mike Strachan. Like Pittman is the clear guy here. So I agree. I am looking, if I'm looking to captain a Colt, it's going to be Taylor. It's going to be Pittman. I do want to talk about Nyheim Hines a little bit too, but yeah, plenty of interest in Pittman.
Yeah. Anyone else that you're thinking about using as the captain, or should we move on to the flex?
I mean,
any interest in Ayuk? I know that he hasn't been great this season. Some people will probably do it. I don't think I can. I don't think Garoppolo trusts him that much, and I don't think this offense really trusts him that much. It's obviously not Sanu. Not going, like, even with the weather, I'm probably not going with a defense at the captain spot. That's always a suboptimal way to do things. Pascal does have touchdown upside, but he hasn't really shown it since the first few weeks. Mo Alley Cox, more of a flex play than a captain play, but he's been getting touchdowns recently, and he's gotten a decent amount of targets. So I don't think I would use him in the captain spot. The interesting one, which I think it just doesn't correlate well to other things, is Hines. I think if you're using Hines in the captain, then you're probably doing it wrong, because you probably want Eli Mitchell in the captain. It probably means that they're going to be trailing and they're going to be dumping the ball off to Hines a decent amount. So you want it more as a run it back, and that Mitchell's probably going to have a pretty decent game. If you kind of there with me.
Yeah, I am. And the way that the Colts are utilizing their backfield, like Marlon Mack is still strangely involved here somehow. They're showcasing him for a trade. So we saw him get quite a bit of run. Last week, he carried the ball 5 times. I mean, he's getting a handful of rushing attempts every game. So that just limits the upside of Hines and Taylor to an extent too. But if he wasn't there, I think that Hines would have a better ceiling, and I'd have more interest in the captain spot for him. But I agree with you. A little bit limited upside there.
Jalen Green already with the over of 11.5 points. Gosh, I'm great. I need to tell myself that after losing all my money on football today. All right, let's move on to the flex. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Hines in the right situation. I mean, Taylor's going to be very heavily owned. Like it correlates very well with Mitchell. Like as a bring it back, you can throw Mitchell in at the captain, maybe a wide receiver from San Francisco, but you're probably just bringing it back with like Hines, with Wentz, with Pittman, and then throw in some cheap guy like Mo Alley Cox and going on a full-on Indy onslaught. I'm not expecting this game to be terribly high scoring. Like you said, it's a 41.5 total now. Like, it's not going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be a slower pace game. Volume's not really going to be a huge thing for either of these teams. It's going to be a lot on the ground. And so through the air, like, the guys that are going to get the volume is probably Debo and Pittman. Like, that's where we know the ball's going to get thrown to. Anyone else, you're kind of just hoping for a touchdown. And like I said, Mo Alley Cox in there, 5.2K. I don't know what's going on, if the simulation just broken, but every single slate for Showdown, a tight end gets a touchdown. So it's got to be either him or Dwelly, maybe both. Do you like those two tight ends?
I do like the tight ends here. I just the low total, slower pace game, like you said. I think getting the touchdowns into your lineup is going to be probably the most important thing, especially on DraftKings. Usually we like to target volume instead of chasing touchdown variance. But I think in a game like this, that the touchdowns are going to hold even more importance. And I think both of the tight ends here have quite a bit of touchdown equity. Don't even mind taking a stab at Jack Doyle. He has a little bit of touchdown equity too. He hasn't really been out there much, but he's seen a target in each of the last 3 games, but it does seem like his role has fallen off a little bit. So that's much more of a deep tournament play.
Yeah, no, it seems like Mo Alley Cox is more the guy. He's been like, Doyle was targeted pretty heavily early on. As of late, yeah, it's been the Mo Alley Cox show. Bless, great name. Anyone else? Are you thinking about using any kickers? Like, is there any guy that you're just full on punting near the bottom? Like, do you have any interest in using Sherfield or Mack or Trey Sermon, like at a really cheap price tag, just to pay up for some other guys?
Mac, I guess I have a little bit of interest in, just kind of hoping he gets the carry inside the 5-yard line is the one that falls in the end zone. Trey Sermon, I don't know what to. I mean, they just don't seem to want to use this guy yet. I have no idea why they drafted him, but he doesn't seem to be part of their plans yet. It's almost like a redshirt season. He was only out there a couple of weeks because of injuries, and he was the only guy left. With Eli Mitchell there, I don't think he has much of a role. So Kyle Juszczyk, I guess we should probably mention. He has some touchdown equity too. He can catch a couple of balls. Heavily involved in the receiving
game recently. I actually might as well give the people some bets that I'm not terribly high on, but I do like. I bet Pittman over 3.5 receptions. It's already moved pretty drastically. I bet Pittman over like 43 yards, but that's moved drastically. Those aren't the ones I'm going to tell you about. The ones I'm going to tell you about are Juszczyk's lines. So over 1.5 receptions at like -130, I think, over on DraftKings. The guy's been targeted 4 times in each of the last 3 games. 3 targets before that. Like, he has a pretty good shot at it. Over 30 receiving yards in each of the last 3 games. So I got over 1.5 receptions at like -130. Over 19.5 rushing / receiving yards, because he can get it done on the ground too. For some reason, they like to use them all over the place. Just far too low the line. And then Juszczyk over 15.5 receiving yards. Hit all 3 of them. Might have been under the influence when I did it. Smart water over there at the RG office suggested me, and I look at the numbers like, yeah, no, this is a great bet. And then I woke up in the morning thinking I'd regret it. And I'm like, no, yeah, this is a great bet. So if you guys want, I'll go ahead and check out the Scores and Odds app. Again, guys, go ahead and get signed up, because you can go check out exactly where the best line is every single time. And if it looks like I'm just saying a bunch of random things, it's because, guess what? I am, because we have far too much time in this show to answer all your questions.
I particularly really like that Juszczyk over 1.5 receptions. I mean, that's just a smash. He's gotten 4 targets in each of the last 3 games. Caught 4 balls in 2 of them, caught 3 in the other one. We've seen San Francisco at times run him out as like their 3rd down back. Like, he is literally in there to block on 3rd downs, and then you'll just see him leak out of the backfield. He is heavily utilized in the passing game. So I love that bet.
Yeah, so it's at 150 now over on DraftKings, 140 -149 over on MGM, -150 on Caesars, and the best spot to find his receiving prop is over on FanDuel. It's dropped it's one below at 14.5 instead of 15.5 at -10. Rushing / receiving, I'm not sure what the best one is, but I think it's still going to be probably FanDuel or DraftKings. I think it's at 19.5 on both. Yeah. So should we check out FanDuel? Any big differences over there that you've seen that you really want to point out for lineup construction, obviously, it's a little bit different than DraftKings and the way they do everything. But kind of the same principles tend to hold true a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that the quarterbacks are much more beneficial on FanDuel as usual, just because of the scoring system, half point PPR, and no bonuses. So it's a little bit easier for the quarterbacks to make the optimal lineup. Looking at pricing here, Hughes check on FanDuel especially is really cheap, just 5.5K.
Yeah, he's one of the best plays over there, and he's not projecting for a ton of ownership.
Yeah, Debo is priced up a lot. Even Pascal at 10K. That's tough to get to. I know he's scored a bunch of touchdowns for them this year, but I mean that's kind of variant and not something I see continuing.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of on the same page as you. Yes, he can get a touchdown, but it's not like he's going unowned. People see the 3 touchdowns for him this season. They're going to be like, oh, I mean, he's just been off a little bit recently. He'll probably do something, but yeah, no, he's not a guy that I really have a ton of interest in. Again, I'm not a huge fan of playing kickers, like especially in some win game, and defense isn't over on FanDuel. But yeah, like it's kind of the main guys. Like the most off the board I really want to go is, again, Hines. Big fan of him in tonight's game, is a little bit of a pivot off of Jonathan Taylor, who's going to be one of the highest owned guys on the entire slate. Hines, like he's good. He's very heavily involved in the receiving game. He can have big games. We've seen it many times from him before. It's just a way to get different in this lineup, and he's drastically cheaper, plus direct negative correlation with Taylor. So nice little way to leverage the Taylor ownership. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else on here that really stands out. I mean,
tight ends are very much in play. FanDuel is even more touchdown heavy than DraftKings, and they're all significantly underpriced compared to the top 4 wide receivers. So I like the tight ends even more on FanDuel.
Yeah, someone's asking us about fading both QBs in cash. I feel like that's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's just way too much risk way more risk than you need to take for a cash game.
Yeah, I mean,
like if you think it's going to be super low scoring, I think you can get away with fading one, but I wouldn't fade both of them.
Yeah, so if you're on the blitz optimal, so probably one of the best things to do for cash, I think Garoppolo's in 100% of them. Wentz is in 80% of them. Like if you're fading both quarterbacks, you just have to hit on everything. Like QBs give you a decent little floor. So I would highly suggest not fading both quarterbacks in cash. I don't generally play showdown cash. I probably should, I'm so exhausted every single day by the time the game starts. I think it's more optimal to play showdown lineups. You know what? We should probably look over on on the Yahoos. Maybe I'll play some Yahoos. Let's see if there's overlay. There is a little bit of overlay, and there's not going to end up with a ton of overlay, and there's not a live final ticket to the top. So I might wait for Monday Night Football. But you know what? Let's go ahead. We've got far too much time. Guys, go ahead and throw your questions in there, but we're going to create me 17 Yahoo lineups. If you haven't played over on Yahoo, absolutely fantastic site, throwing money at us every single week. They had a 150K overlay contest that they just guaranteed the overlay. So it couldn't be any less than 150K. It ended up being 190, I think, and I still managed to only barely win money. But absolutely fantastic site. Love it. I'm a big fan of Yahoo. I play there every single weekend. If you are entering, $3,000 a weekend or less, Yahoo should be the first and probably only place if you're playing GPPs to go. It condenses your research down. It's the most effective way to do things. Just go play it. All right, let's see what percentage of captain do I want? I probably want 20% Debo. I'm going 10% Taylor, 10% Wentz, 10% Garoppolo, 10% Mitchell, 10% Pittman. I'll make it 20% Garoppolo probably. 20% Garoppolo, 20% Wentz. Is that 100? I'm not good with math because I'm a great accountant. Never mind. Yeah. So what do you think of that? Is there, so Yahoo's a little bit different. And again, I can give you this entire breakdown because we have far too much time. Yahoo, like, you kind of want the best plays. You want the 5 best plays. You almost every single time have enough money to enter like the near optimal lineup. So if you're taking a shot on anyone else, they generally have to be within the top 5-6 plays. And you don't play a surplus for this superstar spot, which is the 1.5x spot. So you need to get those right. So I do a little bit more of captain at the flex, especially in a spot like this. Although Debo and Pittman are both pretty solid overall captains, and so are the running backs. But you kind of want to set it up that way. What do you think? Who should I have a decent amount of? Feel like Ayuk over here has a possibility of being in the top 5. So I'm going to roll with 15% ownership in him. You like that?
I do like that. It's same as their main slate, half point PPR, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I would definitely still get some Hines in there, but obviously a little value takes a little hit with the half point instead of full point PPR.
Yeah, and luckily with the player groups, I can make it so that Hines is in there with Mitchell every single time, which I feel like is the optimal way to do things. Let's answer a few questions before I get into some more things. Someone's asking about Slate IQ. I will pull that up right now under the wonderful premium content, because I'm sure Blender goes over that every single week, every single Showdown show he goes on. Let's see. Questions. What about the best captains? I mean, the chalk's going to be Debo and Jonathan Taylor in all likelihood, which those are both fine. I am fairly I'm with playing both of them at the captain spot.
Yeah, we've got Eli Mitchell up there projected too, right? With those two, it seems like nobody's playing quarterbacks tonight. That's what we're projecting. We're projecting Garoppolo at 9.7% captain ownership and Wentz at 8.1% captain ownership. So I usually don't play quarterbacks in the captain. On a slate like this, I would be more willing to do that because it doesn't look like they're getting overplayed. Although if you compare it to their optimal usage, looks like optimal captain. I'm sorry, I had that backwards. 12% projected ownership for Garoppolo, 10% for Wentz. Garoppolo optimal at 10%, Wentz optimal at 8%.
Yeah. Devin, where's the Slate IQ thing for Showdown? I can't find it. It's been a long day. Huh? Yeah, drop me a link. And then we'll go over that a little bit. Let's see. What kickers are worth the roster tonight? Neither. Don't play kickers in Showdown. You with me?
Tonight, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Low scoring game. I mean, you generally would think, well, if there's not going to be many touchdowns scored, then the kickers are going to be more optimal. But that's not generally how it works out. And then with the wind, you just have so much more risk for missed field goals tonight too. So it makes gives you even less of a chance to hit them.
Yeah. Punt plays, use check. Use check Mo Alley Cox. Like, not full on punts over on DraftKings, but they're pretty close to full on punts over on FanDuel.
Yeah, I would throw Marlon Mack into that too. I mean, just looking for a touchdown. And I would have to get to 20 lineups before I considered him. But if we're talking deep GPP punt plays, I'd look at him.
Yeah, right there with you. Taylor ownership, it's probably gonna be 20 some odd percent in the captain and 49.55%, I think is what we have a projected for in the flex spot. Like captain, all right, went over that. San Francisco run game going up against the number 3 run defense. If you want to get cute, that's the spot. Yeah, no, I have no problem playing Garoppolo. I have no problem with playing Ayuk. I like Debo Samuel. Like, if you want to do that, that's fine. If you want to use a punt on Dwelly, there's worse things that you can do over on DraftKings. 100% use check. What could possibly go wrong? I don't know. Lose all your money, but if you,
I think he has a legitimate role. Price tag is fine. I don't mind that at all. I love use check.
Yeah. All right. Let's create some team player groups here. Superstar Wentz. I want 1 to 2 of Hines, Mo Alley Cox, Pascal, or Pittman. Sound good to you?
Makes sense.
All right, with Garoppolo, I want 1 to 2 of Juszczyk, Dwelly, Sano, Ayuk, and Debo. Boom. Got my groups there. Let's try and make a build. Let's see how it ends up popping out here. 82% Wentz with a little bit of Wentz superstar. 76% Garoppolo, 65% Mitchell, 41% Ayuk. That's a little bit high, but you know what? I'm entirely fine with that. Jonathan Taylor, only 35%. I feel like I should up that a little bit more. That seems a little low. What do you think?
Yeah. He's the most likely to be Indy's highest scoring player, I think, for sure. So
so I'm going to put him up to 20% for superstar and 40% for not superstar, whatever it is. And there we go. Now we got a little bit more players in our pool. It's getting a little less concise. This is fun. This is exciting. I'm enjoying it. Got Jonathan Taylor up to 47% and 20% in the superstar spot. We got Pittman here at 24%. I think that's about right. I've got 10% of them in the superstar spot. So that's fine. San Francisco defense, I've got 18%. I don't like that. I do not like that. I'm going to drop it down to 7 or 6. So I only want it in one lineup max. I'm going to up Pittman's percentage to 30. I like him tonight. I think he's going to do very well. And boom, we got a new one. Let's see. A little bit of Mohamed Sanu. I'm fine with one piece of Mohamed Sanu out of 17 lineups. And you know what? I think I like this. I think I've done it.
Sounds good to me. Good luck.
I'm throwing them in because why not? And upload from CSV, choose file, boom. And if I win it all, good for me. I'm going to be proud of myself.
What is the prize pool on Yahoo over there tonight?
75 grand.
Not too bad.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to lie. I only keep out as much money in Yahoo as I'm going to play any given weekend. So I had $175 left in there because I maxed out the tournament today. So that's why 17 lineups. More questions here. We got Debo over 58.5 or Pittman over 45.5. I like the Pittman over 45.5. Like I said, I took it at 43.5. It's all the way up to 50.5 on certain sites, and I don't know if I fully like it there. I'm not against it, but it's definitely still in play. Game is going to be 27-17, all field goals and defensive TD. Lol. I mean, it's football. That can literally look at what happened with the Giants-Panthers game today. Oh my gosh, what a trash game.
Yeah, what happened to Sam Darnold? He looked like he had it figured out for a little while, and now he's just looked awful for like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, no, it's real bad. Like, I don't understand it at all. He went like, everyone's like, oh yeah, Sam Darnold, he's good. He's doing things. Good for him. Brad, he finally got out of New York, and it's like, oh, Sam Darnold.
Maybe he is bad.
Yeah. So there's that. That's a thing, we'll say. Yeah, he is in fact not good, probably. And he's exactly who we thought he was, which is a bad quarterback. Probably a lifelong backup.
Yeah, I mean, if he can't figure it out with those weapons in Carolina, yeah, he's got problems.
Yeah. You got the Food for Thought podcast tomorrow night. Any things that you're going to be for sure be talking about?
I filled in for Will last week. I think Will is back this week, so I won't be on that one. But one of the things I mentioned on it last week is how Cooper Kupp just continues to smash. And what do you know? Another Sunday, another Cooper Kupp smash. Like,
yeah, my old neighbor.
Oh, is that
one of the only people that actually, like, only famous people that grew up in my hometown.
He went to Eastern Washington, right?
Yeah, he went to Eastern Washington. He's from Yakima, Washington. Yeah.
Small world.
It's. I know a lot of people that played football with him. I don't think I've ever met him, but Yakima really doesn't have anything except for hops and wine. Like that's really it. Which growing up there sucks because I wasn't drinking, so. Like, it might be a little bit more fun now, but yeah, not a fun place. Guys, just go ahead and throw any questions you have in chat. We will answer them most likely, regardless of what they pertain to, because we got 15 minutes until the game starts, because we're supposed to talk about this for 50 minutes, and it's a 1-game slate. I'm guessing Devin dropped the link in chat. There it is. We'll check out Slate IQ, see what they have to say. Of course, I haven't changed over my whatever it's called, my preferred browser, because I'm an idiot. So it opens up. Who uses Internet Explorer anymore? Like anyone? And Microsoft just keeps throwing it in as the default, which is so dumb. So the optimal roster construction for tonight is 3-3, like 3 guys from both sides of it. Guessing that's because of the volume that each quarterback gives to the running back, quarterback, captain usage of percent owned versus optimal. So Jonathan Taylor looks like he's a little bit unowned. Debo looks like he's drastically overowned. Same thing with Garoppolo. Same thing with Wentz. Interesting.
What stood out to me is the highest owned captains are actually the most leveraged captains. I guess Debo is projected to be highest, but Taylor and Mitchell both are among the top 3 projected owned at captain, but they both have positive leverage. That's interesting.
It's not drastic, but
right.
Like, I think it's based on like the way these teams go, like everything. Like, it's based on tons of slates. So, let's see. Flex usage, most leverage is strangely enough Eli Mitchell and Jonathan Taylor. Same thing again. Carson Wentz actually decent amount of leverage there. 49ers defense. Yeah, and Colts defense. Both of them are positive leverage, which I don't like using defense on Showdown, but may need to switch some things around here. Let's see. That's pretty much what we got here.
This is a DraftKings article too, so a little bit different scoring than Yahoo.
Yeah, a little bit different. Yahoo.
Like, are defenses even available on Yahoo? They were, right?
Yeah. I just still stay away because like chances are they're not going to be one of the top scorers. Like I forget him. Yakima Valley Hops. Let's go. Yeah. Build a cash game lineup. I'm gonna run the optimal here. I don't like that one. I don't hate that one, but I don't love it. Don't love that. Probably Garoppolo at captain. The optimal spin out Sanu, Mitchell, Wentz, and Debo. And there's one other spot. I'll let you figure that one out. I'm sure you can. I will say it might be defense. Wink, wink. You can figure out which one if you're using 4 other 49ers, because I don't know if I can give out a full one. Well, let's check out the FanDuel optimal build, which I think I can just say the entire thing. But this is actually exactly what I would do. I think this is the cash game. Like, you obviously got Garoppolo at the MVP. Then Juszczyk, Mitchell, Taylor, Wentz. Like that's kind of what it should be spitting out. Like, that's it. Juszczyk is the cheapest guy, like, and then you're getting all the optimal guys. Like, it gives you a nice floor because you're taking both running backs and quarterbacks from both teams. And then Juszczyk is pretty heavily involved and makes that work. So I think that is a very clear and obvious cash game build over on FanDuel.
I agree.
Yeah. Love Mo from the alley. Yes, I do. Happy Brandon Ayuk Day. Maybe. Ugh. I don't know. He's hurt me this season. I had some week 1. I had some ones that were in it with like Ayuk left, and going into late games, I'm like, oh, this is a great lineup. I have like this guy, and Ayuk, and I have like more player minutes than anyone else. And then
Trent Sherfield happened.
It wasn't even that. It was just Ayuk didn't play, I don't think, at all.
Yeah, that's what I was, because Trent Sherfield ran ahead of him.
Yeah, like, did he even get on the field? Bad. I think
no, week 1 he didn't play at all.
Yeah, so I can't even remember. I think I had the over on his receptions, and it might have gotten void because he never got on the field. Not sure why you're so down on defenses when these conditions will be horrendous. I like to live dangerously. I don't want to root for defense. I want to root for offense. I want this game to be fun. And also, it depends on different sites. I don't want to use defense on Yahoo because it's hardly ever in the optimal. like over the period of time, like you look at slate IQ in general, I think defenses are rarely ever. There are certain situations, I'm not saying you should never use defenses, and this probably is going to be a spot where you could use a defense, but I think they're going to actually draw some decent ownership. I mean, let's check it out over on DraftKings, what the projected ownership is on the defenses here. And 15 and 19%. Like, you're not getting any leverage. Every time it's a good spot to use a defense is generally a spot where it might be overowned. Although Slate IQ does have the San Francisco defense and the Colts defense as optimal spots. So I guess I'm wrong here. Like, I trust Slate IQ. They do great work. They absolutely crush it. So over on DraftKings, I mean, I'm still not doing it on Yahoo. Don't do it on Yahoo. Like, there's too much going on there that you can just easily fit in something else. But yeah, on
I think it's a lack of value on this slate is kind of contributing to that. Like, the best plays down there, like Mohamed Sanu, Marlon Mack, if you want to take a shot on that, Jack Doyle, like it's pretty ugly down there. Trey Sermon, we don't even know if he's going to see the field. So I think that's contributing to it, is the point per dollar, the defenses are actually grading out as pretty decent plays.
Yeah, someone asked to do a contrarian build for FanDuel. Throw Hines in there, like Wentz, Hines, Alley Cox, like Wentz at the superstar, Hines, Alley Cox. Like, I don't know, maybe if you want throwing.
I mean, our ownership projection on Juszczyk is really low, which I don't know if that
it's going to be higher than that. He's popping in a lot of optimals because of his 5.5K price tag.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be a little bit higher. I could be wrong. Again, people that do ownership spend a lot more time on ownership than me. So unless it's a situation that I know for sure it's going to be wrong because I've looked into this players significantly, then I generally trust them. And Juszczyk, because he's popping in optimals, that's almost always a spot where, like, people are probably going to use him in cash. People always throw their cash game lineup in the showdown. So I think Juszczyk is going to go over 2.7%, but it's FanDuel. You have far too much money. You can do pretty much anything you want, as you can with every single thing or every single sport. But yeah, you play any DFS basketball tonight?
I did not play any tonight. No.
Gosh, RJ Barrett, you suck. I hate you. Yeah, I didn't end up playing any. I just put a whole lot of bets into the crunch time show because I am exhausted from football, and football takes over my life. But yeah, no. Let's see. Any other? I got Pittman over 3.5 receptions. I already said that. Lines moved quite a bit. Let's see what the best line out there for Pittman reception is. Go on over to the Scores and Odds app. Check out props. Go down to receptions. Control F, which is find. Pittman is at 4.5. Oh gosh. Yeah, his over 3.5 moved from, I think, minus 146 to minus 196. So that means that was a smarty pants.
You beat that line move for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Greatest sports food snack of all time. Fried chicken wings, hot wings, pizza, burrito, nachos, burgers. I think it's got to be wings.
It's got to be wings. Yeah, agree.
Yeah, I mean, just the versatility of wings, like fried, breaded, buffalo, habanero. Like, there's so many different flavors of wings. I mean, pizza, yeah, pizza's great. Pizza's fantastic. But, like, it's not really a snack. That's almost always like, I'm sitting down, I'm ordering Pizza Hut stuffed crust pizza, and I'm hammering down the entire thing in one sitting and then hating myself, which generally 10 beers. You know what's weird? Like, I used to get like so much stress during DFS Sundays. I used to, as soon as lock happened, I'd go to a bar with Draft Cheat over at Run Pier. Hey, Draft Cheat. If you're watching, you're probably not. And just bottomless mimosas until the afternoon game started, and then I just pass out. Like, I would get up at 3 a.m., work until 11, immediately go to the bar, drink for 3.5 hours, and pass out. That used to be my every single Sunday, because the stress of how much money you have on the line can absolutely destroy you. And alcohol is the only way to keep that at bay. Yeah. Now I don't think I've had like 4 drinks all Sundays combined this year.
You're working too much now.
Yeah, well, I'm working and buying a house. I'm selling this house. Yeah, I've got now betting 5 different sports at once. Yeah, no, I've been working 90-hour weeks since football began. It's been exhausting. QQ, which punt do you like more, Doyle or Doolin? Assuming Doolin is the wide receiver 3 without Campbell and Hilton. I say take a shot on Doolin.
Yeah, I agree. Just recent trends, Doyle has really gotten a whole lot less run recently. So I think with Hilton being injured again, I think Doolin will see the field a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, without Paris there, like,
yeah,
I've played Paris strangely enough lot this season. Has not worked out well, very clearly. Yeah, no more QQs. Let's see. Let's look. Taylor for 100 rushing yards. It's possible. Like, I don't know if I'd actually take the number is 68.5. So I doubt he gets to 100. Like, I think I'm probably more on the under. But yeah, if you want, go ahead, throw some money on it.
Yeah, I mean, he has had 2 huge plays the last 2 weeks. One was a reception, I think, but like without that run last week, he doesn't hit 70 yards. I think he ended up with like 140 or something like that last week.
Was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, last week was against your Titans. Not your Titans. No, it's Luch's Titans.
Yeah, Luch's Titans.
Again, it's been a long day. Won all the money back in every event by a half point. I feel like I'm in a full. I just want to spoon a pillow. All right. No. Honestly, I had a pregnancy pillow for a really long time. And obviously I'm not a pregnant one. It just like I move around so much. Like I'm a side sleeper, I'm a back sleeper occasionally, I'm a stomach sleeper. And you know, it just like being able to turn over and you got your pillow, like it covers, you can move your head all the way around. They're just wonderful. Highly suggest pregnancy pillows, whether you're pregnant or just a lonely adult male like I was. How do you feel about Prize Picks taking Mack and Hines over 12.5 rushing yards? I like that. I'll check the blitz projections, see what they have projected for that. No, that's the bat. Derek Carty the blitz. If you haven't signed up for it yet, it's pretty solid. And anytime I give Carty praise, I don't feel good about myself, so that you know I'm not lying. Let's see. Hines is projected for 18 rushing yards alone, and Mack is projected for 12. So taking Mack and Hines over 12, is it combined or each? Because if it's each, I still like it, but if it's combined, I really like it. So if you're doing the over on each of them, that's fine. But I think I'd lean more towards the Mack under if you're just picking both of them. Yeah. Let's see. We got like 3 more minutes, and I wonder how my bets are doing. I think Anthony already hit the over of 3.5 assists. So hooray me. Dort needs 1 more 3-pointer. Green hit the over of his prop in literally the first quarter. That's how bad it was. I don't think, by the way, sports betting, if you're betting props, like the easiest thing to do with points is just look at the volume of shots, not actually points. People always game log watch, and that's how they go off of things, which is why sports books will drastically drop the lines on things over the course of time, because they'll look at it and be like, oh, well, we want even action on both sides. People are going to bet the under on this a lot because he hasn't gotten 12 points in any of his last 3 outings. So let's set the line at 10.5 here, because he hasn't hit over that the entire season. People are still going to hit the under. Well, you look at the volume of shots, the fact that he's shooting 30% from the field, that's not going to continue over the course of anyone's NFL career, any NBA career, especially a guy that was that good in college. So if the volume is going to be there overwhelmingly often, it's going to happen where he hits the over of those numbers, assuming that you can basically assume a 40% shooting percentage. If the shots stay consistent, then you're going to hit it way more often, because he's going to, on average, shoot over 40% from the field. So if you're just assuming that he's going to get the same volume of shots, you take the over. And look, Green crushed his prop tonight in the first. So something to look at if you're looking into sports betting. Also, RG projections are fantastic for basketball. And if you want, sign up for Scores and Odds, and you can just go to the prop thing, and they have all the RG projections right there. I do that every single day. First thing I do when I wake up every single morning, I go and I check basketball props and what the RG projections have to say. Occasionally I disagree, as will happen. And also you can look into news, the what if functions on Rotogrinders. So I'm just giving you a giant sales pitch because we have no questions and we're like 1 minute away. Do not fade both quarterbacks on DK. In cash. In tournaments, you can, George, but like I think we already went through that earlier. Probably not a good idea to fade both QBs. You can fade one, don't fade both. And I think we have hit lock. I somehow made it. I'm still alive right now. Don't know how, but you got anything else to say?
No, can't wait to watch this super exciting, sloppy game. So
I don't even know if I'm going to. I might go Postmates and watch. Gosh, oh gosh, knocked out my headphone. I don't even have any good things to watch on Netflix or Hulu. I watched everything, which is weird because I've been working so much. But I guess there just hasn't been great shows lately. I miss Ted Lasso. You ever watch it?
I haven't seen that one, no.
Okay, get Apple TV, watch it.
Okay.
All right, guys, it's been fun. Good luck on all your lineups on this absolute trash game tonight. We're out of here. See you, kids.